Hi, welcome to the Passionate Spinner. I'm Tracy, and today I decided to do a bonus episode, and I'm going to talk about my ultimate comfort project, which is blankets, which sounds a bit weird because, blankets take forever, but I don't know what it is. They give me a lot of comfort. I love working on blankets, and I have quite a few started, and I'm itching to cast on a new one. So I thought it was time to talk about all of the blankets that I have on my needles and on the crochet hook right now. So let's do it. First up, I have a crochet blanket. It is housed in this weird little cardboard box because I ran out of blanket boxes, which you're going to see later. And I am using one of those color changing yarns, and I am crocheting a Starblanket out of that. You can't really see a whole lot, but this is the Starblanket pattern, and these are I think they're called a Jacob's ladder, and they're going to be crocheted up later. So this will look like a giant chain, and it will, close the holes up. So that's the first thing I'm working on, and I'm just gonna make it as big as possible. Whenever I run out of yarn, that's gonna be the end of the blanket. The pattern, I'm sorry, I did not bring that before because I forgot. The blanket pattern is from a German crochet magazine, Decken Spezial, and this is what it's going to look like in the end. And I really just like it. So that's project number one. Then another blanket that I have also on the crochet hook is a granny square blanket. And I have put together 2 rows by now. And it looks like this. That's the front. So I have 6 rows in total. So I have 4 that I still have to put together and, then attach. And then I will do a border all the way around. But that's this yarn. I using Hot Socks Diamond from Grundelwolle for the insides. It is all sock yarn held double, and the natural colored one is opal sock yarn. So that is another crochet blanket. I started this in August. I think this is the newest blanket that I have on my needles. And I am going to put this in my shop once it's done. So that is this one. All of the squares are done. I just have to attach them and put them together. Then I have one that is not very spectacular to look at. Also, my cat kindly detached it from the yarn that was on it. This is opal sock yarn, and somewhere in here, almost to the bottom, I have the rest. So I'm going to talk about this once I reach the box to go with it. Let's talk about this one, which is the top box. So I have boxes like this for my blanket projects, and this little project bag lives upstairs, and it is want to work on something, don't know what I want to work on, so let's work on this project. And what it is basically the Habitation throw pattern by Helen Stewart. And let's see if I have a picture of it. I do. So this is the pattern. It is the Habitation throw. But I have modified this quite a bit because hers is one large square knit out of fingering weight yarn. And I'm doing larger squares out of a DK weight. No, not larger, smaller ones. And then I'm going to seam them together for like a patchwork style blanket. What I'm using for this is different skeins of 6-ply German sock yarn, because I had like 5 or 6 skeins and I never ever have knit socks out of these. Not ever. So I decided to make a blanket for my husband. And I'm using, like I said, the Habitation throw pattern as a guideline. I did an attached I-cord all the way around. And I have this going right now. And oh yeah, I already brought the box. So in my box here, I have all of the yarn. Oh, and all of the finished skeins. So I have finished 5 squares so far for this blanket. And so German 6-ply sock yarn comes in 150 gram skeins. And when I made the first square, I realized afterwards that it is a tiny bit too big. So this weighs more than half of a skein. So it's not smart to go on doing that. So I changed the size, and I really hope that once I seam everything together, you will not be able to tell in the end that one of the squares is larger. But here is the yarn that I have. I'm going to make as many squares as possible. And then I have these 2 gray ones that I can use to either attach everything or do a border, or I don't know yet. But that is the Habitation throw for my husband. I have made a lot of blankets in my life already, and we use them all of the time. So I just really love making blankets. It's something that I feel like you kind of always have a use for. I'm gonna leave that with that. So now let's find out if I can close this box up again, because when I open it, the lid just kind of poof went flying. Okay, close. Wonderful. Then what? Oh no, I need to put these away as well. Okay, I'm gonna show you probably the prettiest blanket I'm working on, and it is a crochet blanket. It is Charlotte's Universe. So my son just came home from school, and I really hope he's not going to run in here because I'm recording. I don't want to edit. Ich bin gerade am Aufnehmen. Kannst du bitte wieder gehen und nachher wieder kommen? Beim Papa bleiben? Mach die Tür wieder zu, Schatz. Danke. Okay, I will not edit that out. You will get to see this. So, I am working on a pattern called Charlotte's Universe. It is by Deirdre Uys, I think. It's a free pattern with lots of tutorials and video tutorials to go with it. And I have nothing attached to this, so I can actually show you what it looks like. It looks like this right now. It is a square. I think it will become a rectangle, but I'm not quite sure. I have not worked on this in quite a while at this point, but I just think it is so pretty. And the yarns I'm using are in their box. I'm just gonna pick out one of them. They are all this kind of yarn that is not really plied, but it's just a bunch of threads next to each other. In Germany, they're called gefachtes Garn, but I don't know if there's an English word for that. So yeah, that is that blanket. I really want to get back to it, and I think I'm going to keep it. I think this is going to be for me. All of the yarns are a cotton and polyamide blend, which is a nice blend to have for a summer blanket. So that's probably what's going to happen with these, or with this blanket. It's going to be my summer blanket. And yeah, I have it living in its own box. Like I said, I usually have all of my blankets in boxes, but I ran out of boxes, and I have not run out of ideas for blankets. So I need to get that fixed somehow. Okay, the other blanket that's sitting next to me, and the last one not in a box, is the, what is it called? Something. It's Something by Stephen West. I have no idea. I have a pattern though, so let's find out what it says. Painting bricks, maybe? It is. It is the Painting Bricks blanket. And it looks like this. The yarn that I'm using for this, and I have this pattern folded like that because on this little bit, I have the whole information I need for my pattern repeats. What I'm using for this is Drops, Brushed Alpaca, and Flora Nepal. I don't quite know. Not Fabel. Or is it Fabel? Doesn't matter. I hold these together for the main color, and all of the contrast colors in here are my own hand spun, and they're all pink or purple. I did not know I had like 7 skeins of pink or purple hand spun yarn, but I did. So I'm using them as the contrast color in this blanket. And I think that this will be the most luxurious thing I have ever made blanket wise, because of the brushed alpaca and the hand spun. It's going to be delicious. And also for me, for in here, because as you can see, probably not see very well, I have a pink couch in here. So this will work perfectly with my room. So that's the plan for this one. And now we enter into the boxes. I have a whole stack of them over here. You cannot see, but I'm gonna get them. So you can, this goes all the way to the floor. So let's work our way down, shall we? Create a space where I can put them next. So in the top box, I have blue leftover yarn bits, and they are all for a mitered square blanket that I'm working on for my son. I did quite a lot of work on this last year when I kind of felt like I might be able to finish it for his first day of school, and I didn't. But it has gotten quite a lot of work done on it. I think I have reached the width. Let me try to show you. So this is the width I have right now. Can you see? Barely. You can barely see it. And I think that that is a good width for a blanket, because the plan for this is, so it's a mitered square blanket, nothing super fancy. But I wanted to make this for my son so he can use that basically forever. You know, like kind of an heirloom blanket that just will be his from now until he's an adult, you know. And I'm using all kinds of blue for this one. Not because it's his favorite color or because I think that a boy needs a blue blanket, but just because I had a lot of blue leftovers, and that's why I started it. And then I got a lot of blue leftovers from friends, and started to collect blue mini skeins when I was out in some yarn festivals. So I'm putting all of that in here. For this blanket, I am knitting all of the squares in the same direction, as you can see, and I'm knitting them with 60 stitches. I am also weaving in the ends as I go. So I only have those hanging here, but they will be gone once I attach the next row. So that's a cool thing to be doing. So that's this blanket. I think it is gorgeous, and it will be so pretty. And I am using the yarns more than once in this blanket as well, because otherwise I don't think I will have enough. Because I really wanted to have this be a large one, you know, so he can use it as an adult man as well as a child. Okay, now I'm gonna pop that back. So I have the blanket in a Ziploc bag and the yarn in the box, because otherwise it just will not fit. And I am knitting that on a 3.5 millimeter needle, or 3.25, I'm not quite sure. And I have short straights to do that, because that just works best for me and how I want to do these blankets. Then in this blanket, I have plans for a blanket. It's not started yet. So I'm just going to briefly show it to you. I'm going to do the Persian Dreams blanket, and I have all kinds of leftovers in here, and 5 skeins of different shades of green that will be the main colors for that one. But I'm going to show that once I start it, not now. Okay, next crochet blanket, and another one for my son. This is a granny stripe blanket. The pattern is by Attic 24, and it is out of hand spun leftovers. I'm working, I think, with a 6 millimeter crochet hook that should be somewhere in here. And this is like really heavy. It's really heavy. This is supposed to be for my son, and I think I'm gonna finish it off soon, because this is so freaking heavy. On the other side, heavy blankets can be very comforting, so I'm not sure how long to go, you know. But yeah, that is the first. I'm sorry. I swallowed fiber. That's the first of 2 granny stripe blankets I'm working on. And it's handspun leftovers. It's super heavy, like really, really heavy. But I'm gonna finish it hopefully soon. Okay, so that's that. Now, okay, so these are my blanket boxes. Next up is another mitered square blanket, and that is for me. It's the first one. It's also the oldest blanket on my needles right now. And I have some needles attached in here. As you can see, these are the shorts that I'm using. They are Chow Goo needles. They are 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch. I think they're 7 inches long, and it's a 3.25, so a US 3. Okay, so this is mine. And for mine, I decided to go around, which makes them all go in different directions. Should have thought of that before, but ultimately I don't mind. Also, I did not know yet how to weave in the ends as I go, which sucks a bit because there's a lot of ends that have to be woven in here. And the last thing I wanted to say was I'm using the yarns only once for this blanket. So I'm using everything, but everything only once. Now, this is how far I am on that one. That is it. That's the size. Can you see the bottom? So that is the size of this blanket. Is for me. It is sock yarn held single. And the important bit about this one is that I have forgotten what I wanted to say. What was it that I wanted to say? Oh yeah, I'm doing this, the squares with only 50 stitches. So for the blue one, I'm doing 60. And for this multicolored one, I'm doing 50. And that means I need less yarn. And I can use up smaller bits as well. So, mitered square blanket number 2. Okay, only 2 to go. We're good. It's not too bad. So now let's get back to this one here. So this is opal sock yarn. Like I said, my cat, friendly as he is, detached this. And my son is walking down the stairs. If he's gonna come in again, I'm gonna get really angry. Nein, ich bin noch nicht fertig. Ich brauche noch 5 Minuten. So, I have opal sock yarn, and they're all in different shades and colors that include orange and red. So I decided to just knit, garter, stitch. I cast on, I don't know how many stitches. And once I run out of this yarn, I will fade into the next skein and knit all of that, fade into the next, and so forth. So that's the plan for this blanket. And as I have not been working on that in a very long time, I'm just going to put everything in here and close the lid and pick it back up when I feel like it. So, okay, one more, just one more. And it is another granny stripe blanket. This one is made out of mini skeins. And these are mini skeins that I either bought or got in swaps from friends. And it's for me, again, or for, you know, just general use. And I'm going to show it to you folded in half. So this is the first side. And this is the second side. It is very pretty. It is a lot of fun creating. Oh, and I have the hook in here, which is good because that means that I at least know what to use for. And like I said, I have all of those mini skeins in here that I got in swaps or at festivals or wherever. And I'm using those I'm going to use the whole thing up and then work on to the next one. So yeah, these are my blankets. These are all the started blankets. I want to start more. I want to start that Persian Dreams blanket at some time. I want to make a Vivid blanket by Tinker Knits. I also really like the new blanket that they put out. It's called Starburst, Starlight, something star, and it is a hexagon blanket. I also really like the Nectar blanket by Isolde that just came out. It's also a hexagon blanket. Yeah, I love working on blankets. They give me so much comfort, and whenever I have a really bad time or, you know, a downtime in mood, I want to work on blankets. I want to start new ones, and I just don't want to stop ever. So that is my blankets. I'm going to leave a lot of links down below in the description box. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful time. Let me know about your favorite blanket pattern. Maybe I can find a new one that I want to try. And I hope you all have a good time.